Go ahead.
Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. Welcome to Africa Discourse. I am Wilson Marshall. Well, it's no longer news about the protest in Ivory Coast, but it has taken a new dimension. This time around, political parties, they all came together to say, Alassane Ouattara, the pathway you are carving out for yourself and really want to go through is inimical to the democratic dispensation in our country, Ivory Coast. That wasn't the case some few weeks ago, but this time around, they all came together saying enough is enough. The big question now is, they want to follow the pathway of Mali. Yes, I'm talking about pathways. Well, this is not biochemistry, no worry, pathways and all of that. With me here in the studio, I have two distinguished gentlemen. I have a lecturer at Uniben, in the medical area, you know. He's a doctor going to a prof, also become a prof very soon. Join me to welcome Honorable Frank Amego. Honorable, welcome to
Thank you for having
Africa
me.
Discourse.
Thank you so much.
All right, and this is what I will. DR stressed me, so I have to add it to my name. Yes, they say give honor to honor is due. Join me to welcome Alex Obi, an engineer, PhD. Yeah, Dr. Alex Obi, welcome to Africa Discourse. Appreciate your comment.
Thank you very much.
All right, so let me start off with Honorable Frank Amego, who has been really following this situation closely. Parties coming together, opposition saying enough is enough. Alassane Ouattara, the pathway you are making for yourself is inimical to our democratic dispensation. You have to have a rethink, or we will have to force you out. What do you feel about all this?
Well, it's quite unfortunate for the people of Ivory Coast to be asking the president to have a rethink. When there was constitutional amendment in 2016, they said little or nothing about it. So now the election that is to hold on the 31st of this month, the court has cleared the president, Ouattara. That's been cleared. So talking about legality, the president is qualified. Well, just always speaking on morality, you ought not to be there. The only advice I will give to Ivory Coast
it's not your time for advice. Talking about have a rethink right now.
They shouldn't have a rethink.
They shouldn't have a rethink. Because so you are saying that Alassane Ouattara's step, they are justified. Is that what you're saying right now?
Constitutionally.
Okay, I will come back to you on that.
Yeah.
From what you said, constitutionally speaking, Alassane Ouattara is on the right path. What do you feel about this?
Okay, well, it's also about not just the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law. Earlier this year, he had made a statement that he wasn't going for the third term. You know, you would think that someone of that caliber would probably keep to his words, after the death of Koulibaly, and this is a reoccurring thing that occurs everywhere in African democracy. People see themselves bigger than normal. They see themselves as the Messiah. They think they are the only one that has they have the power to change or to continue to hold the country. You can imagine the expression he used. This for me is a real sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice is that? You are not the only qualified Ivorian that can handle that kind of position. Alassane Ouattara had an opportunity to write his name in history as someone who would ensure peaceful transition in Ivory Coast. But with his actions, he is going to lead that nation into another serious turmoil, another possible civil war. It's not welcome at all, considering the fact that he came out clearly to state that he wasn't going to. African leaders must learn to take the path of honor. They must look beyond their office.
Taking the path of honor and look beyond the office. Now, from what you said, constitutionally speaking, he went, amended the constitution, and he's qualified, but he gave them his word. When Koulibaly was alive, I'm not going to vie for third position. Is it right for him to go against his word?
Yes, in March this year, specifically, he said he was not going for a third-term bid. And he also counseled other West African presidents to also have that line of thought. But in August, he now saw the need. His party, RODHP, saw the need after the death of Koulibaly that Ouattara should come up. Because unlike what happened in Mali, whereby a large majority supported the removal of IBK. The case is different in Ivory Coast. The president of Ivory Coast has supporters within and outside Ivory Coast. That means Ivorians.
Yeah.
A lot of them in France, Paris in particular, are clamoring that this president should come back. That he has helped the nation and truly has done that. But the aspect I'm not comfortable with, since he said in March he would not contest, why did he hold on to his word? In August he changed it. So right now, even former President Gbagbo wants to come in, and former Prime Minister Soro. So the court has barred them. So the way Ivory Coast is, I don't want to pity any of them. Former President Gbagbo still wants to come back. In other words, the constitutional structure of that country is so watered down that any person can just rise up to become president.
So you're saying that the constitution is defective in Ivory Coast?
Yes,
okay.
It's defective.
All right. Now you just hold on. Now he raised a very strong point, still heaping the blame on the constitution. Now the same constitution, the same court barred Laurent Gbagbo, and of course others from vying for this same position. People like saying that this is the handiwork of Alassane Ouattara. What do you feel about that?
Definitely, because the Constitutional Court has a lot of loyalists to the president. You know, but I see a lot of inconsistency. The same court said that Gbagbo won the elections after the court declared that the Independent National Electoral Commission over there did not carry out its function dutifully, and so the votes that Alassane Ouattara had in 2011 wasn't correct. So we all know that sometimes these courts probably would do the biddings of the people in power. Now, coming to the issue of France supporting, that should not really be a very strong basis, because we know that it's all about interest. The hold that France has over Francophone countries, it's just unbearable. The control is massive. So they would support. You know, the political philosophy of the West sometimes is hypocritical. You know, like last time at the International Forum, we made a very valid point that in the whole Middle East, aside from Israel, Iran is the only working democracy. Yet the US has a problem with a working democracy, but supports the absolute monarchy of Saudi Arabia, of Bahrain, and every other Arab countries within that region. So sometimes the policy stand of the West is not as consistent as one should now hold them as like one moral high horse. It's a big insult on Ivorians. And if you say anybody can have supporters, that's right. Anybody, no matter how wayward, how useless you think a leader is, they will be harmful. Especially we are talking about a leader who is in power. And we are talking about Africa, where there is still a strong ties between religion and ethnicity. Okay,
strong tie between religion and ethnicity. Now let's take you to the protest in France. Don't forget that France was amongst those countries that sent troops to Ivory Coast to remove Laurent Gbagbo. Don't you think that France is protecting their own interest in this matter? After all, they were the one that installed Alassane Ouattara after the removal of Laurent Gbagbo.
Of course, as he just posited now, that no matter the kind of character you display, you have supporters. France will have to support one person at a time. So I wasn't surprised when some Ivorians living in France brandishing placards for the continuity in power of President Ouattara. So France has interest in him. And checking by the profile, talking frankly, this president has done so much relative to the previous presidents. So, to me, if you have done so well, they call him a savior, the savior of Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast.
So, a savior will have a time span in terms of personality. Now, consider yourself so that you leave office in a way that you'll be applauded. The constitutional amendment that was done in 2016 of course, he was party to that, is the one that's empowering him now. So France is not playing the role of a good master. They should just allow him to do the second term and leave. But they were able to project into the future that if anything happens, of course something happened. Koulibaly that they were trying to present passed on.
Passed on, yeah.
So now the best option they had, of course the party, the RODHP, was for Ouattara to come back. And the man joyfully accepted. He has the international backing of their colonial master.
Okay.
Yeah, joyfully.
All right, joyfully. Now, you said it was a party that asked him to come back.
Yes.
Alex, do you share that thought? So the party asked him to come back and he joyfully accepted. Or is this all a kind of a trick by Alassane Ouattara to really come back, since his henchman, so to speak, Koulibaly, kicked the bucket?
It's just the normal scenario that plays out every night. It's a big charade, you know, where the party would come together and beg you to come back, and you would, you know, accept grudgingly and say, well, I wish I could reject, but I think my people need me. It's a very common lexicon in politics in Africa. My people want me. They say, they want me to continue the good work. Nobody's saying he hasn't tried. You know, the position of Ivory Coast as the largest producer of cocoa and coffee and the largest economy within Francophone makes it very important. Makes it also very delicate. Its closeness to Ghana, closeness to Nigeria. So the stability of Ivory Coast is very important to everybody. They can't tell me that in a nation as rich as that, Alassane Ouattara could not find a suitable replacement, someone that has been in the system, who understands workings, and who can continue your reforms and probably take Ivory Coast to the next level. It doesn't make sense. It's the same old story everywhere. People, it's not normal when people act out this messiah status, African leaders. You are not the only one that can do it. There are others that can also do as well as you have done, if not better. So it is time, for the sake of peace, for the sake of stability, it is time that he steps down and allow, since he has morally, in whatever you want to look at it. And I am not even very comfortable with the role of Nigeria and other African Union, those who are supposed to enforce democracy all over the world. I think they should, you know, ensure, you know, if possible, give him a soft landing, if that would help. But he must be brought to order in order not to plunge that country into chaos.
All right, now, because right now, according to report, it's like Ivory Coast is gradually tending towards chaos, because almost all opposition party, they came together saying enough is enough. They're having a big march in the stadium protesting against Alassane Ouattara. This protest, is it occasioned by fear factor of the person of Alassane Ouattara?
Yes, just on Saturday, three events took place at the same time. I was even confused as to which of them to follow up. First was Ondo elections on Saturday.
Yeah.
The next thing, my friend was passing out from the NDA. So I was just trying to follow both activities. Until I went international, I discovered that was about the same time in the afternoon on Saturday 10th, that the Abidjan stadium was packed full. And later I got the report that they had in the afternoon, they had about 20,000 persons right there seated. And the seating capacity is 35,000. So I said in my mind, in pidgin English, that it don't sit. So I had to look for a more peaceful thing to watch. I had to watch the passing out. So the point is so clear. Last month, UN, AU, ECOWAS teamed up to go to Abidjan to meet with opposition and the other leadership of Ivory Coast. That was last month.
Yes.
Then just last week, their second time, they went there. What did they conclude? Appealing to the president that the election should be peaceful. And from simple reasoning, it means that this man is going to contest. They only appeal to him that should be peaceful. If they have mentioned that the president wasn't qualified, that would have been a different thing entirely. That lays claim to the constitutionality of the president being able to contest in that election. So the protest is such that the opposition leaders said they're going to call for a civil unrest or civil disobedience.
Yes, civil disobedience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thereafter, they said, okay, if that's the case, we will not vote. Then the ruling party, RODHP, said, whether you vote or not, the election is going to continue. So now, this was the first time, by my own assessment, that ECOWAS, AU, UN stepped into a matter in West Africa and in general in Africa as to how to resolve a challenge. They did take this step in the time of Mali before the coup took place. But the step they have taken now, I'm happy about it. Try to bring about peace in that neighborhood. Of course, Senegal now is also warming up to have a third term. But where Ottawa is very smart, he was able to inject into it the clause. And that clause sort of resets his ambition to come for a third term. But Mali, that couldn't hold. In Senegal to now, they are able to bring in the constitutionality, allowing for the president to come for a third term. So Ottawa is appearing smart. So he's going to contest 31st October.
He's going to contest 31st October, hence the hues and cry of the opposition.
Yes, he's going to contest.
Now, from what he said is actually correct about Africa Union. Of course, ECOWAS going to Ivory Coast to make sure that there is a peace in the election, appealing to Alassane Ouattara to make sure that there is peace in the election. Does it mean that these bodies responsible in a way to create a balance in African sub-region, even in Africa, they are in support of the president's bid? Third-term bid?
Okay, all over Africa, when you look at state leaders, 90%, and I stand to be corrected, continue in their office third, fourth, fifth term after a so-called referendum or tilting of the constitution to favor them. So that's a normal thing to do. So that's why we are emphasizing on the morality. That's what they do. So it's just normal. People have done it, and that's what he has done as well. I understand. So I also feel that the part of the tenets of the African Union is democracy. And I would like a situation whereby ECOWAS and the AU are consistent in the way what is good for A is good for B. The same thing that happened to Gbagbo. Because in the case of Gbagbo, the court of the land said he won. Overturned the independent national. But what happened? Because they had their own special interest, Gbagbo was let out. And so in this case, I also expect that they should stand firm and be consistent about what they are saying. There can't be true peace without justice. And what is justice? That you have served out your 2 terms. Bring out somebody else. And again, it is also very clear that these coming elections cannot be free and fair if the president has a personal interest. Now you are talking about him coming back. I doubt the opposition stand almost no chance with that guy contesting.
We're talking about 5 years. Third term, 5 years each. If he succeeds, he's going to be ruling Ivory Coast for 15 years. But from the gathering of the opposition in the state of Abidjan, do you see the election being peaceful? We're talking about 20,000 just party members. We're talking about other protesters around or across Ivory Coast as a country. Do you see the election that is scheduled to come up on the 30th of October taking place peacefully?
Come 31st day of October this year, election will hold. And to be peaceful. I'm drawing inspiration.
Are you in Ivory Coast?
Yes, I'm drawing inspiration from the screening of the presidential candidates. The president, alongside with 3 other persons contesting. So if you want a good opposition, nobody should contest against the president. That's when we begin to analyze that, okay, there will be war, there will be crisis. There will be no crisis. While various opposition leaders are complaining, first, Lawrence Gbagbo wanted to come back. His guys are among the opposition persons praying that the current president should not contest. So that house is divided already. So the other 3 political parties who have fielded their candidates, who they vote? They will vote. So the protest now is belated. Once the constitution was, the hearing continued, people were making a lot of proposals, and they did not discover that the president injected certain clauses. That should have been the beginning of the protest. Not that the thing has able to stand the constitutionality of the process. You don't come back and say it shouldn't be. The left hand, right hand, there were two hands. One should be on the left, one should be on the right. You didn't contest. Now they all say, no. It's quite a long time now. The left hand should not go to the right hand. It's too late. So the protest, a peaceful protest, should have come up while these clauses were injected into the constitution. So it will going to be a peaceful election.
Now, he said it's going to be a peaceful election because this protest is belated. It's like it's too late. Do you agree to that? The timeless of the protests.
24 hours is a very long time in politics. We can be sure how it's starting, but no one knows how it's going to end. Ivory Coast has survived 2-3 civil wars and major unrest over the years. I foresee Ivory Coast sliding into that kind of situation again, into serious anarchy. The election is going to hold, but I foresee voters apathy, and you now entering back into power without the right support, without the right legitimacy, or without, and you are now governing a country that is deeply divided. It's strengthening the lines of division in that country, across ethnic lines, across religion, you know. So it's not, this, Alassane Ouattara had a place in history to uplift their democracy, you know, through a peaceful transition, him acting as, you know, a neutral party. But this step he has taken, this, in quote, selfish step he has taken, will come back to haunt the nation. I say he hasn't put Ivory Coast first in his decision. He did not.
So you're saying he put himself first before the country?
Definitely. He cannot tell me that he's the only one in that country that has the power, the magical power, to continue to turn things around. No. There are others. I would have preferred a situation whereby he supports somebody he feels passionately about to take over from where he has done, and thereby inculcating that democratic culture in that country. He had a wonderful opportunity to do that after 2 terms. 10 years. 10 years. He's not even a very young man in the first place. 75. This was the time to allow the relatively younger people to take the reins of power and guide them, become like an advisor. But he has lost that opportunity, and he's almost plunging the country into chaos and anarchy.
All right, we have two contrasting views. One is of the opinion that it's going to be a peaceful election and everything will just go smoothly, while the other is saying this may lead to yet another anarchy in Ivory Coast. Don't forget Burundi Nkurunziza tried it. He wanted to come for the 3rd term. Yeah, no thanks to COVID-19, he was taken out of the board. Now, Honorable Frank Amego, do you see the military coming up if these protests goes unchecked? After all, we have barely 3 weeks to the election according to the Ivorian timetable.
There's no military coming in. And again, there is no country in this world that is not divided. There's no country. Even America is divided. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the country is divided. You see, Nigeria will come back to that is not divided. So what I see there, the law does not entertain emotions. So the incumbent president knows all these points I just made now. That is why he injected those clauses. And that is why the court cleared them. That is why the UN, AU, ECOWAS delegation that came did not say the man was not qualified. So it's rather unfortunate. Not that I want to really support the 3rd term. I'm saying now that they should have come up with this protest far before now. But as we speak now, the president is qualified to contest for a 3rd term. So what I see there will be no military intervention. Unlike in Mali, the Abike was not able to understand the constitutionality of his intention. But this man was smart enough to, at the far range, projected that if anything happens, this is going to be the situation. So he was having in mind Koulibaly. He had somebody in mind. But the man couldn't survive.
So are you not saying without Koulibaly, there's no other person in that party?
Without Koulibaly,
I don't think of it.
He did not
that party.
show interest by himself. If you want to say he was able to bribe his way through his party, the RODHP, that is left for the party men to decide. But the party upheld. There was no primaries done to the point that it was clearly contested and the other opponent in the party won. They brought him out. The party brought him out. And other political parties fielded their candidates. And the other clause that barred Gbagbo, a former Prime Minister Soro, he also injected those clauses in the Constitution, fraudulently. So those two personalities have been shut out. They're not even living in Ivory Coast now. They have been shut out of it. So the other three contestants, they're just like figureheads. He has got to bring them closer. If you say, I'm going to be someone that will be so erratic, someone that will go into any form of governance that will not help the country of Ivory Coast. But now we have seen feeding other political parties, feeding their candidates. So it should not be clear enough, it will not be justified, as far as I'm concerned, that the man is going to create more problems. There will be no crisis. Military will not come into it because they have been, in quote, they have been sorted out.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. Our time is up. Alex, we're going to have the last line on this discourse. Do you see Ivory Coast showcasing what happened in Mali? Are we going to be having another Mali in this West African sub-region? Briefly, our time is up.
And there are different countries. Ivory Coast is highly divided along religion and ethnic lines. In that kind of country, it's difficult to have a consensus even among the military.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate your wonderful analysis. Well, let's see what is going to unfold, because 31st is going to be the time for the election. Will it be peaceful? We do not know. See you tomorrow, God willing, on International Forum. Bye for now.